So, question, okay, do you wake up between 3 to 5 a.m.? And if you do you want to know what that means? So today's a very interesting topic because, a lot of times I've gotten a lot of people that are coming, hey, Oliver, I wake up like between 3 to 5 or, sometimes it's even between 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You wake up and you're like, what's going on? Why do you keep waking up randomly? And it's different. Sometimes you're waking up and it's almost like you took coffee and you jolt awake and you're just up. And it's different every time, right? Sometimes it's just energy, all this excess energy that you can't shake off. Sometimes it's all these thoughts that just come kind of flying, right? They're like flying, like what's going on? And you're like, what does this mean? That's what I'm going to talk about today. But first, I'm out of curiosity, how often does this happen to you? And are you aware of what time you actually wake up? Does this happen to you? And you know what time? This is very important because sometimes, and this is probably a topic for another video for another day, because even sometimes, even with the time that you wake up, there's meaning behind the actual time. Why do you wake up? What does it even mean? This could be probably the biggest breakthrough when it comes to spiritual awakening, when it comes to intuition, when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to just having clarity, is if you understand those hours. Typically it's 3 to 5. And for some it's 1 to 3, right? But it's typically within the wee hours of the night. You go to sleep, your brain is shut off, and you're not logically interfering with it. Because a lot of times our minds are the biggest thing stopping us from getting messages and signs and working through things fast. And the reason why you want to get messages and signs is because we live in a reality to where, whether you believe in God, higher power, universe, you're always being supported. And we are being supported through signs, through messages. If you're wanting something, then the answer to what you want comes in the form of a sign, right? But we live in a reality also where there's so much distraction happening all the time, right? So much everywhere you look. Our phones, people around us, like energy, what's going on in the world. There's so many different things to where it keeps us in our mind and keeps us focusing on all this external stimuli where we can't tell signal from noise. All that is noise. Signal is the sign that comes to where if you're like, I want more love in my life, or I want more abundance, or I want more purpose work, or I want more clarity, I want more peace, I want more happiness, you're going to get a sign on how exactly to get there in the shortest amount of time possible, typically, with the least amount of pain possible, in a way where if you do it right and if you're listening to the signs, issue that you're experiencing should not repeat itself further. It shouldn't be following you. It shouldn't be like, oh, it's the same problem, different day kind of thing. It's solved and you're there. But the problem is we get lost with all the noise of the world that we can't figure out the signal of like, what's the message? 3 to 5, 1 to 5 is a sacred time to where we just fell asleep, you wake up, and all of a sudden, you're just getting the downloads, the messages, right? And it might not make sense at first because it might be an energetic download to where you're up, you have a lot of energy, and you don't know what's going on. And what's happening in that moment, what most people don't realize is it is really like an energetic download. Think of a USB drive. You plug into a computer, you're transferring files from your computer to the USB drive, right? And when you do, it exists there. But unless it's time for you to go in there and look for a file and use the file, you don't really know all 100 gigabytes or 10 gigabytes of files that's in there. You just know that it's in there, and you know that when you need it, you'll tap into it, you go in there, you'll open it, and you'll get that information. So sometimes the signs come through us via energy. We wake up, jolt of energy, it's being downloaded, we don't know what's going on, but it's just a full download, and next thing you know, after a while, we fall back to sleep. And then Next day, next few days, you're out, you're going about your day randomly. Maybe you're in the car, you're exercising, you're in the shower. Typically, when you don't have anything to write it with, right? Something comes, you're like, wow, that's an amazing idea. That's an amazing thought. It just comes. Where did that come from? That, my friends, is the download that happened when you woke up between 3 to 5, 1 to 3 a.m. It was downloaded, but it was accessed at exactly the divine time, the sacred time that you needed to access it. Nothing happens by accident. Nothing, right? And I'm going to prove it to you. When you start looking for the signs and synchronicities, it's everywhere and it's undeniable. For example, how many times have you had, and let me know if this has ever happened to you, right? To where you're thinking about somebody, so you text them, or you email them, or you call them, or you reach out in some way, shape, or form. And it's random because typically you're not thinking about this person or they're not in your daily thoughts, right? But they just come up somehow. And when you reach out, they tell you, that's so interesting because I was just literally thinking about you too today. So what are the odds of that happening, right? Somebody thinking about you, and then you're thinking about them and you reached out. There's this invisible, energetic, psychic connection, intuitive connection, right? That we have with people, and we just shrug it off and be like, it's, but it happens. And if you look around in life, there's a lot of these little but big and not coincidental things that happen that connect us to other people's energies, other people's souls, or our own version of a higher power where we get messages. And when it's noisy, we can't hear it. But when it's not, we absorb it. So one of the ways that it happens is it's energetic download. It comes, you're waking up, there's a lot of energy throughout the night, and you're like, what's going on, right? And you go back to sleep. It could be even annoying because you're like, what's going on? Sometimes what ends up happening, and I've had this before, you wake up and you have a lot of thoughts that are happening. And they're just boom, 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 boom. And sometimes they might seem random or they seem happening fast, but they're just like, wow, there's a lot of thoughts flying in. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know why they're happening. They're just like, it doesn't make sense, but you're processing it almost like a supercomputer at hyper speed. Things are just processing because, again, your mind can't get in the way. So when a higher, power tries to communicate to you during that time, it's just you're absorbing all the data and it's doing what it needs to do. It's going where it needs to go. It's shifting what it needs to shift. And you just have to be with yourself during that time. And sometimes you're going to be waking up, and you're having these thoughts that are like, might even be scary. You're like, why did I have those thoughts? Those are weird. Those are scary. And what's happening during that time is, again, it's healing time. So when our conscious mind isn't hyperactive, overreactive to every stimuli out there, it actually gets a chance, unconsciously to process the things that need to be processed. So at times, the healing energy that comes between 3 to 5 or 1 to 3 comes in and allows us to process the things that are buried deep down that we've shoved under the rug that we're not even aware of, but for some reason they're holding us back from the life that we want to live, like chains in our feet, like an anchor's holding us back, and we can only go so far. It's like driving with the e-brakes on, you're going nowhere fast. We process a lot of that during that time when our mind is not active, right? And it's processing it, and then you might be like, that was scary, I didn't like that, but it's processing what it needs to process, so it's out of your mind, it's out of your energetic field, it's out of your emotions, and you're free from it, right? So a lot of times, there's several different reasons why you wake up during this time, but a lot of it is my experience, like serving us, and we just didn't know it. It's happening for us, right? It speeds up the process of our breakthroughs, of our spiritual awakening, of our healing, and of just our transformation. If we don't know that that's happening, we might not be grateful for it. We might resist it. But the best thing you can do is just ride the wave, lean in, know that it's happening for you because you ask for something, or you're being led to something that you probably even can't conceive is the gift, but is exactly what you need. It's exactly the next step. It's going to show up exactly when it needs to. There's a divine timing in it all, and it's happening for your best and highest good. Hopefully this helps. This is one of the things that I just wanted to go ahead and share, because I know I get a lot of questions. I wake up 3 to 5 a.m. and what do I do, right? And this is what it's about. And a lot of people don't know. They might know that, hey, you wake up in there and there's communication going, but they don't know the levels of it. Whether it's an energetic download, mental, you're shifting through emotions, you're working through your unconscious, so many different things happen. If you see it for what it is, and if you use it for what it is, your life will never be the same. If you've enjoyed, this specific video, right, and you'd like to learn more, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I dive deeper into this in my free webinar that I have. It's my free 60-minute training on how to master your energy, how to become your own healer, and also you discover the 8 psychic senses that you might have and how it works. So if you're interested, you should see more information on it. Just go ahead and follow that. Register for the webinar, check it out. It's a ton of free content, but hopefully this one helped you. You have more context, and the next time this happens to you, you're like, I know what it is. I can go ahead and ride the wave. I know it's happening for me, and only amazing things are going to come from this. All right? That's about it. All over Spiritual Activator here, checking out. Remember, I love you all. And when you heal yourself, you heal others, and you also heal the world. Thank you so much for watching my video. And before you go on and check out all the amazing videos I have on my channel, because a lot of them, whether you want to work on, overcoming negative energy or raising your vibration or mastering your energy or becoming a healer, right, or understanding your spiritual gifts or empath lessons. There's a lot of them there. Before you go on and check them out, I want to make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I have a lot more amazing stuff, amazing content that's coming several times a week, and I don't want you to miss out. So make sure you subscribe, okay? Like this channel, and also please comment below your favorite parts and what you'd love to learn. As you can tell, I love putting my heart, mind, and soul into creating content that makes a difference, content that transforms lives. And my goal is to become the most valuable resource for you when it comes to spirituality, energy, and personal development. So comment below with what you'd like to learn, subscribe, like, and hopefully see you on the next video.